Something wonderful is happening to me right now. Something wonderful is happening to me right now. I accept things the way they are. I accept things the way they are not. Something wonderful is happening to me right now. I love wasting. I love wasting. I can breathe. I reap abundantly. I already have everything I need. Wonderful is happening to me right now. Don't you feel it? Something wonderful is happening to me right now. Oh yeah, I accept things the way they are. I will. I accept things the way they are not. Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
Lovers
Well,
and the
today is the
huggers.
season. We're practicing the season of peace.
Okay.
So it's
And
very
love,
special.
and joy, and
That's right.
abundance, and
right.
wisdom,
And power and glory. And
power, and glory, and the United States of America that we live in this country is so wonderful.
All right.
Yes.
Are you taking?
You were very efficient at that one.
Tell me good morning, you guys.
Good morning. How about this? Welcome to our center.
What you say?
I ask everyone to lovingly settle into your seats. Just take a nice, gentle, loving breath. Breathing in the essence of God and breathing out the essence of God. As each of us have joined together today, the grace of God is in and through and around each of us. Peace and tranquility reign supreme. Feel the peace, the love that is flowing, that's in you, that is flowing outward. Knowing that each and every one of us have joined here today by divine appointment. Just standing together in grace and love. Being connected to the person sitting next to you, on your right, on your left, in front of you and behind you. Feel that we are totally connected with God's love. Because love is what makes the world go round. Love, the heartfelt love that each of us feel for the self that we are, for the being, the God being that we are, and for the love that we see in everyone that we come in contact with. Again, feeling the love, the peace, the grace of God flowing in and through and around each of us. Peace. The feeling of peace that is coming from the music. And just being on this holy ground where wherever each of us are. It is holy ground. It's God's ground. And now, let us each go into that innermost sanctum, our heart. In silence. And just feel the vibration. Feel the energy of that love that's within each and every one of us. Feel that. Whatever's comfortable for you. Feel the vibration of love that is in with each of you. Knowing that each and every one of us are an individual spark of God. And each of us shine our light in a unique way. Because there are no two of us in our life. And that's what makes this world so wondrous. The love that is exuded here in this center. When you walk in the door, you can feel the love, you can feel the vibration, the energy of love. As I look into each of your eyes, I see the God of you. The love, the grace that flows in and out and through effortlessly and easily as each of us stand in our own truth and be the best that we can be and even more as we open our arms, as we are connected to God, and we say, yes, yes. What else must I do to bring this love into the world? To show me the way. And now I ask each of you, when it's comfortable for you to come back into the room, and when it's comfortable for you to open your eyes. Namaste.
And so before the opening prayer, we just wanted to stand here as a unit, as a team. We stand in love. We stand for peace. We stand for oneness. We stand for forgiveness. And we stand knowing that it's good and only good, no matter what it may look like or appear. Always. And so we turn toward truth in every situation.
And if you'll just close your eyes and allow my words to be your words, as I speak in the first person, and with a grateful heart, I know there is only one power, one presence. It is all-knowing. It is in me, through me, as me. And as I know this is true for me, I know it's true for each person that can hear my voice right here and right now. I am so very grateful. And as today unfolds, I become the peace, the love. I am knowing that underneath any appearance of chaos is absolute perfection. Everything is in divine order. There are no mistakes. Everything is perfect. I am so very grateful for my spiritual home, for all the teaching here, for all the love and support. I am so grateful for my spiritual family that comes each week to hear the words of wisdom. I'm very grateful for the ministry of prayer team that keeps each and every one of us prayed up. I'm grateful for the music. The music allows my heart to sing during the week as I hum the words. I'm so grateful for the soundboard, for the ministry of prayer team, for the children's teachers and the children and the greeters. I am grateful for Julius to be witness to what we are. I now release my word into the absolute perfect law, knowing it is already done. And together we say, and so it is.
Absolutely. Good morning. My name is Cheryl Bell. I'm one of the co-senior ministers here with Reverend Dan and Reverend Stacy. And I think we're all feeling good today, in spite of appearances. You know, it's been our tradition throughout the Centers for Spiritual Living to go back and review the beginning of our Science of Mind textbook, which is written by our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes. And the beginning of the book is, it's not a chapter, it's an introduction to what we believe, our fundamental principles here in religious science, science of mind, whatever you want to call it. And it started out with Reverend Dan talking about the thing itself being God. I call it God. You can call it divine, spirit, your choice. But it is the allness that is, no matter what you call it. Then we came with The Way It Works with Reverend Stacy Hilton, and she was awesome. She was. But it can be summed up in love shows the way, and law makes the way possible. And last week, Reverend Dan, who told us a wonderful story about his French family's first ever family reunion. I'm knowing that they will have a second. And summed up is he simply was showing us that the law is creative, and so are you. And the law is, you are the master of the law. You really are, no matter what it appears like. And finally, we're at the last section, and I don't know how I pulled this straw, how to use it. Some of you have taken classes and you know that the Science of Mind textbook begins on page 25. I'm still searching for the book that tells me what the first 24 pages are. I haven't found it yet. Now the introduction that has those 4 sections in it begins on 25 and ends on page 60. However, my section had 10 pages. But there's only 35 pages to tell you the whole introduction, but he takes this entire book, the rest of it, which is really light reading if you so choose. We do have a few in the bookstore, to tell you what those sections mean in more detail. So if you get, and there are some people that they read the first 4 sections and they're pretty much done. And they just get it. And one of the people that I know is one of those people is Jared, Andrea's guy. And you probably don't know Jared. He used to sing here, and there's some of their CDs in there also. But he got it so quickly, he was able to do that CD pretty much before his first class was over. Ernest Holmes, interestingly enough, and I'm going to read from that section, how to use it. On page 51, this is where it begins, which is kind of funny because he says one of the great difficulties in the new order of thought is that we are likely to indulge in too much theory and too little practice. Now, I'm telling you, you don't have to become a practitioner here to practice these principles, but you do, for your own sake and for the sake of our world, it would help if you would practice them, period. And how you practice them is to live like we try to tell you every Sunday. We take every Sunday, 52 Sundays out of the year, maybe a few more, to tell you the same exact thing. That you are magnificent and that you are a child of this universe and that you're the goodness that is. And I know some of you get it sooner than others. Some of you have to take the 4-year classes we offer. But we just want to remind you that there is power for good in the universe, and you can use it. You can use it. And that's pretty much that last section is telling you how to use it. Now, too little practice. As a matter of fact, we only know as much as we can prove by actual demonstration. That which we cannot prove or may not be true, but that which we can prove certainly must be and is the truth. Now, some of this, it helps if you take a class because some of it sounds a little wonky. Just, it can sound a little wonky, but in practicing and in studying this book, which he's giving you a few pages, light reading, you'll eventually understand how it works and how to use it. Now, the mind is like, I can equate it to a garden. It's like a garden. We must cultivate the thoughts and the feelings that we desire, like flowers that we want to experience. The weeds, which is considered the negative thought, will arise on their own. They must be dismissed as soon as they arrive. I mean, no one, and if you have, you can raise your hand, has ever planted a weed. Have you? No one has ever planted a weed. When weeds pop up, we pull them, we get rid of them. So if the weeds are negative thought, when they pop up, and they will, and they do for me, they do for Reverend Dan, for Reverend Stacy, and for everybody here, you have to get rid of them. Even if you didn't plant them, it exists in this wonderful world. That's where the practice comes in. That's why he says the great difficulty of this teaching is too much theory and very little practice. Now, you do not have to become a practitioner to practice. I have a little story, and I just found this out, but I didn't know. You don't know the things you say that impact someone. You have no idea. I co-taught, Prac 1 a few years ago, and one of the students in there, I won't say her name, but her initials are Juanita McCoy. And she was asking, what do we have to do? What do I have to sign up? Like she had to do all this work. I got to do this. I'm going to have to sign up and be the volunteer, just really concerned about that. And I looked at her and I said, we don't want anything from you, Juanita. All I want is your consciousness. That is all. And that's why you do not have to become a practitioner to lend your conscious awareness to not only the center, but to the world. I know, and I'm just so happy that had her to decide to actually become a practitioner, because she's one of our best, because they're all really good, just so you know. They're all really good. So your conscious self-awareness is what is required. I'm sorry to say, but we all can look out and see what's happening, and that consciousness that you practice is going to go a long way, no matter what it looks like. Now, another one of those wonky paragraphs, page 52, and some ministers call it the rule of 52, and some of them believe that this is even though we don't really have any rules, this is one of the rules. Hence, it follows that if we believe that it will not work, it really works by appearing not to work. And when we believe that it cannot and will not, then according to the principle, it does not. But when it does not, it still does. Only it does according to our belief that it will not. This is our own punishment through the law of cause and effect. We do not enter in because of our doubts and fears. It is not a punishment imposed upon us by the Spirit of God, but an automatic result of failing constructively to use the law. You can say the law of good, the law of God, the law, period. You know, I mean, we have a friend who we did a class with in Seattle, and one of his things, he says, well, electricity doesn't go out of its way to kill you, right? There are some things that you have to consciously be aware of when you're messing with it. Gravity's not boxing with anybody. It's a constant law, and we obviously have learned how to use it. So the laws of the universe can be used for our benefit. There's a power for good, and we can use it. That's what how it does is talking about. You know, if you're going to march for whatever kind of rights, be ready to love even those that don't agree with you. Because love is really the key, in my opinion. And be ready to love the people that spit on you. Be ready to love the police officers that are attempting to stop you with hoses or whatever it is. I understand some marches are peaceful, but some aren't. Miss Kitty was talking about the season for nonviolence that begins tomorrow, where we get to practice what Gandhi and Martin Luther King taught, nonviolence. The season of nonviolence is a wonderful reminder of how to use it. There's another quote. It's not as wonky as 52. Do you like wonky?
Yeah, it's cute.
Oh, it's cute? Okay, thank you. I'll keep it. I've used it a lot, actually. Not on the stage, though. But I figured I could use it up here because you all understand wonky. This is on page 55, and I think it's the third paragraph. The time will come when we will let our conversation be in heaven and refuse to talk about, read, or think about those things that ought to not be. Think about that. But someone will say, should we refuse to look at sickness, poverty, and happiness? This is not what we are discussing. We will not refuse to help the helpless or lift up the fallen, but we will refuse to wallow in the mud because of our sympathies. And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. Matthew 15:14. Yeah, I don't think I even need to explain that. I really don't. Practice, practice, practice. Awesome. Now this past Wednesday night, Stacy is really our coordinator for Wednesday night. My name is on the ticket just because. I really don't know why, to be honest with you. Because she actually runs the entire Wednesday night, and it's wonderful. And it's an interactive service where we discuss a lot of things that's happening in our world. We express our concerns, and then Stacy reminds us how to use it. She reminds us there's good and we can use it. She reminds us, like she did at her wonderful service, what it is. Is it what it is? Is that the one you did? The way it works. It's so many. Sorry. That was Dan's. Sorry. And there's only one. Thank you, Reverend Wanda. I love you. When are you going to speak again? Of all the people in the world, I just love you. All right. So, and it was an interesting time that night, and we were able to, it was like 12 of us, a dozen of us, and we just expressed love, even though we were expressing concern for our country, not only our country, but the world. Excuse me, I don't know why my nose is leaking. But it's a day, it's a time that we got to practice. To not just talk about theory, but to actually practice this teaching. Because it's in the practice and the doing that we will change ourselves. Therefore, we can't help but change the world. Correct?
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, let's see, what else do we do? You know, when I talked about Miss Juanita and her willingness to serve and to offer us her consciousness, not only to the center but to the world. Don't cry, Juanita. I would love for each of you to think about that, because your conscious awareness of the laws of the land that, to be honest, we can't change them because it works whether you can use it willy-nilly. Oh, another one of my words, not just wonky. Willy-nilly or on purpose. Because it's there for you to use for your good and for the good of all. Not willy-nilly, because it's going to work, no matter what you put into it, it's going to work. And that, you know, I remember that, I love that, Stacy, and I love that commercial, the Subaru commercial. And it says that love is the only thing that you give, the more you give, the more you get back. It's not true. I love the commercial, but in this teaching, that is not true, because whatever you give is what you get back. It could be hate, it could be violence, it could be whatever. It's not, if you give out love, yeah, you get more back, but if you give out whatever, you get more of it back. And if you're consciously aware of that, that makes the world a better place. Your world especially. I would like to also tell you, let's see, this is not wonky, but this is one way that we can sum up how to use it. Let's see, what page is that? Page 60, the last page, of course. A new light is coming into this world. I'm sorry, the world. We are on the borderland of a new experience. Soak that up, because on Wednesday night we were talking about this is a period of awakening for the entire world. It's a period of awakening. Your words matter, so think about them. Be aware and conscious of them. So I choose awakening because it's probably the best way to sum that up. The veil between spirit and matter is very thin. This book was written in 1920s. 27. It was published in 1927. This could have been written today or yesterday, this section. I'm not talking about the wonky sections. But I'll start again. A new light is coming into the world. We are on the borderland of a new experience. The veil between spirit and matter is very thin. The invisible passes into visibility through our faith in it. It is done to us as we believe. It doesn't say that, but I added that part. A new science, a new religion, and a new philosophy are rapidly being developed. This is in line with the evolution of the great presence, and presence with a capital P, another word for God. And nothing can hinder its progress. It is useless as well as foolish to make any attempts to cover this principle or to hold it, capital P, as an invested right of any religion, sect, or order. The truth will out. The Spirit will make itself known. Happy are we if we see these things which from the foundation of the human race have been longed for by all aspiring souls. Have been longed for by all aspiring souls. I think that's talking about me, you, everyone in this room, and everyone not in this room. We have created our world exactly. Whatever you see right now is what we have created. And I say we, I mean the collective. We, I mean each and every one of us here. And we could create it differently the next day, the next day, the next day. I don't mean to, I know it sounds like such a heavy responsibility. So I don't want to say it's a burden, but it is a responsibility. And I'm telling you, love is the answer, period, in my opinion. Mind you, practice, practice, practice. And when I say practice, I mean practice love. Practice seeing the good in it all. And I know it's hard sometimes. Don't I ever know that? Don't I ever? I love you all. A lot. Remember, we do not have to know everything. We don't have to know everything. We don't have to memorize this book. We don't have to memorize the book. We don't have to memorize any book. We don't have to know anything. We do have to know that as a co-creator with it all, and that there's a universal presence that does know. Just know that we know that there is something in the universe that knows, and we don't have to know. We just have to love. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all. Namaste. I am grateful. That's my part. I am a center in the divine mind, a point of God consciousness, God conscious life, truth in action. My affairs are divinely guided and guarded into right action, into correct results. Everything I do, say, or think is stimulated by the truth. There is power in the world that I speak because it is of truth, and it is the truth. There is perfect and continuous right action in my life and my affairs. All belief in wrong action is dispelled and made negative. Right action alone has power, and right action is power. The power is God, the living Spirit Almighty. This Spirit animates everything that I do, say, or think. Ideals come to me daily, and these ideals are divine ideas. They direct me and sustain me without effort. I am continuously directed. I am compelled to do the right thing at the right time, to say the right word at the right time, to follow the right course at all times. All suggestion of age, poverty, limitation, or unhappiness is uprooted from my mind and cannot gain entrance into my thought. I am happy, well, and filled with perfect life. I live in the Spirit of truth and am conscious that the Spirit of truth lives in me. My word is the law unto its own manifestation, and will bring to me or cause me to be brought to its fulfillment. There is no unbelief or doubt or uncertainty. I know, and I know that I know. Let every thought of doubt vanish from my mind, that I may know the truth, and the truth may make me free. And so it is. We can stand and